Whittward Carver, the Great Garden Gaffe. Picture this. A quaint English garden party hosted by none other than our favourite hoity-toity couple. They've swapped the silverware for sun hats and the fancy food for finger sandwiches, but the pretension? Well, that's still on the menu. Our middle-class heroes, fresh from their dining room debacle, have been invited back for round 2. They're not quite sure why they've been invited, but they're determined to make the most of it. After all, how much trouble can one find in a garden? The day starts off innocently enough. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and our heroes are doing their best to blend in with the floral prints and polite conversation. But then, the games begin. First up, croquet. Our heroes are handed mallets and balls and sent off to do battle on the lawn. They're not quite sure of the rules, but they're pretty sure it involves whacking things, and that's good enough for them. They swing their mallets with gusto, sending balls flying in every direction. The hoity-toity couple watches in horror as our heroes turn their genteel game into something resembling a medieval battlefield. Next, the hedge maze. Our heroes are given a map and a patronising pat on the back as they're sent off to find their way. They step into the maze, determined to prove themselves. But the maze has other plans. It's like something out of a horror film, all twists and turns and dead ends. Our heroes are lost within minutes, reduced to bickering and blame. I told you we should have turned left at the topiary squirrel. Well, I'm sorry I'm not a blinking bloodhound. Meanwhile, the hoity-toity couple is sipping tea and chuckling to themselves. They're loving every minute of this. But our heroes aren't ready to throw in the towel just yet. They decide to climb the hedges, determined to cheat their way to victory. But as they reach the top, they realise they've made a grave error. The other side of the hedge is a sheer drop into the pond. And that's how our heroes end up taking an impromptu swim, much to the delight of the assembled guests. Dripping wet and covered in pondweed, our heroes emerge from the maze to a round of polite applause. They've lost the game, but they've won something much more important. The admiration of their fellow guests. They've turned a stuffy garden party into a spectacle, and everyone loves a good show. The day wears on, and our heroes dry off, their spirits undampened. They might not be the kings of croquet or the masters of the maze, but they're something better. They're entertaining. And in a world full of boredom, that's something to be celebrated. So, the next time you find yourself at a garden party, remember our heroes. Remember that it's not about winning the games, it's about making a splash. And if you end up in the pond, well, at least you'll have a good story to tell. And that, my friends, is the tale of the Great Garden Gaffe. It's a reminder that sometimes the best way to fit in is to stand out. Just be prepared to get a little wet. Until next time, pip pip.